All right, let's go. Wake up. Boy, it is bright. It is bright in here today. Huh. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's so bright in here. I think I just upped the brightness on the laptop. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm not blinding myself. All right, how the hell's everybody doing? Huh? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What did we do last night? Wow. It was all kids for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Vincent, I know. It is what it is. One day, Vincent, y'all will miss me talking to myself. One day I won't be here talking to myself, and then you all will be like, damn it, we should have hit the like button one extra time. Hey, JC. Metal says, can't be sour when Sordiv scores. I like it. I like it. Yeah. The kid can play, right? I mean, the kid can flat out play. If only we had the number of defensemen coming up as we do forwards, right? I mean, Zamiskevich came up, Sordiv, St. Martin, Sachin, Giles. I know there's at least one more you guys are going to remind me of. Vincent says, I have quite a collection of Jaw shirts. My daughter, every birthday, every Christmas, every Father's Day, that's what my daughter gets me. Steven says, a much needed win as once again we got zero divisional help. Agree. Shafashi, yeah, man, that's what I agree 100%. I talk about that in today's members podcast. Put his ass on the third line and leave him there. Shafashi, yeah, St. Martin, right? JC says, I couldn't help but to come to terms that if you have a cigar and a wife beater tank on your resemblance to Bubba Brewski, the public is striking. Oh, that's a good point. I'm still waiting for God to deliver Chicken Chuck's voice there. He will. Vincent says, so Zito's not quite Mary Poppins yet. Room to grow. Yeah, if he could start delivering some defensemen the way that he's delivering forwards, we may just win the cup every year for infinity, honestly. That's sarcasm. Swashi, do I think Cooper Black could be the goalie of the future? Well, how I would put that is I wouldn't be surprised if at some point one of the two between Knight and Black gets moved, in the sense of I think they both could potentially be the goalie of the future. I mean, what's Black, 6'6" or 6'8"? He's a big dude, and he's playing well right now. Anyone knows, Frank says, anyone knows what that Fire and Ice thing is on the Panthers YouTube page? No. Fire and Ice is the name of the little bar at the casino in Dover that I took Kyle to, that he had to have a big-ass drink and get drunk after he lost all his money. Jason says, Chicken Chuck, a slightly higher pitch, scratchy Pat Mahomes tone. I could work on that. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll try to imitate Mahomes' voice and see where I can go from. That's a good idea. I'll give that a shot. I know I don't really do a Kermit voice, but maybe I could play with it a little bit. Hey, Kenneth. It's a nice game last night. Can Florida keep it up without Chucky? I believe so. Cooper Black is 6'8", and that's without skates. Good Lord. Good Lord. Oh, no, the stream might be a little bit jumpish. That should, my members podcast is uploading at the same time, so that might be slowing up the stream a little bit. but it's because I'm in a rush. I got somewhere I got to be as soon as I'm done here. So it's at 90%, 91%. So as long as it's not being too terrible, I'm gonna, because otherwise, if I pause the upload, then I'm gonna be late with where I'm going. Yeah, so he's 6'8" without skates. That's crazy. Yeah, Shafashi says, I think the Rangers might sneak into the playoffs. They're right there. Ottawa's kind of choking it up, huh? Ottawa's kind of choking it up a little bit. Detroit's in a solid position for sure. Steven says projections after last night's game: Toronto 105, Florida 101, Tampa 100, Detroit 93, Ottawa 89, Boston 86, Montreal 85, Buffalo 78. Now, why would Tampa? Oh, I see, because they're going to have them split their games in hand. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be shocked to see Tampa win the division. And I said that last night. I'm okay with that. Tampa, Florida, Toronto, Ottawa. Let Tampa and Ottawa go do the thing. Vince said, anyway, Sordiff had a great exhibition game. Zito prepping him for a trade. No, we don't need anything other than I was going over what the roster could be next year if we keep Sordiff and everybody continues to develop. And honestly, the only thing we need is defense. I mean, the forward group next year, I created an entirely decent team in my head with the forward group for next year, and I forgot Rodriguez. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, Sordiff, Giles with Rodriguez and Greer. Now, I'm talking next year. It's like we could be set already there. Yeah, we need 2 defensemen and an extra center yeah. That's right, Strafossi. That's another name I forgot. That's the name that I put in the first time I made the roster in my head. I put in Boquist and forgot about Rodriguez. So that pretty much sums it up, right? I mean, we're not going to need forwards. If we want to sign the guys we have next, we're not going to need forwards next year. Let's just rebuild the defense and we'll be stout, right? It's just a matter of not having to give up too much this year to get the defenseman. But, all the times we've been talking about trades, I'm like, Sordiff would be the first one. I don't know after what I saw last night. I don't know about that. Kid can play. All these kids that Zito is drafting can play. And how come he's not drafting defensemen? Like, I think we looked at it this year or last year. Oh, yeah, Damien, I saw that about Teron Armstead. Kyle's going to have a football stream either tomorrow or Friday. He's going to have a football stream for everybody tomorrow or Friday. Florida Panthers draft history. We looked at this. I want to look and see. Is it going to give me it's not going to give me the positions. Damn it. Let me go somewhere else to see if I can get the positions. Let me go to Hockey Reference. Let's go to Hockey Reference. Come on. Let's see. Because I want to see. We know we got all these forwards coming. We got more forwards than we know what to do with. Here we go. All right. So this past season, the only defenseman we drafted was Matvei Shuravin in the 3rd round, who's playing in the Russian juniors, I guess. 2 years ago, we took Albert Wickman and Luke Coughlin in the second and the sixth round. Now, in 22, he took a defenseman in the third and in the fourth round. Alsher and Ludwig Jansen. So I don't know if any of those guys look ready to come up or not. Would I look at Seth Jones? I don't know. I think he has term, doesn't he? No, I don't think Kierstead is with us. No. Vincent says there's no place for Sordiff on this team. Let's be honest, others would want him. I mean, I grasp what you're saying. I hate to keep throwing guys out the door, but it just depends on what we're going to get in return. Let's put it this way. I would not want to give him away unless we were getting a defenseman that was going to be at least a multiple year fix. Maybe not the permanent fix, but I wouldn't want to give him away for a rental. It just doesn't make any sense. He just fits what we do. He looked good last night. But I get it. You can't keep everybody. Vincent, that's funny because I made a joke about that in the podcast today about Gudis. Like, yeah, give me Mikkola and Gudis as our second pair. Kenneth says, sorry to keep blowing this trumpet all year long, but Boston is not making the playoffs. I can't stop, but it sounds so good. Kierstead is still with us. So what? He's in the AHL? I haven't heard his name in a long time. He's a ways away. They say Shervin has some high talent, but needs to develop his D. Yeah. Frosty says, I'm still mad we couldn't keep Boquist. Or you meant to say Boquist? You're talking about Adam Boquist? It said Lundqvist. Wasn't that goalie's name the other night? Silva says, amazing game last night for the future of our team. Knight looked solid and sturdy in the net. Sort of looked like a mini Chucky, and Samoskevich blew past everyone as per usual. Amazing. Was a good night. And if it wasn't for Barkov sleeping in the crease, Knight would have had a shutout. Barkov just stood there and watched the dude, man. He just literally stood there and watched the dude take 2 or 3 whacks at the puck, and he didn't move. Can't tell me that man's not tired after 4 nations. So, but yeah, we're in good shape now. Meadow says Boston pisses me off. They literally can't do anything right when they're supposed to lose and lose when they're supposed to win. Right, Silva, that's a good point. It made Sordiff's first goal a game winner. Yeah. Yeah, Knight lifted up his leg for some reason. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it was all Barkov's fault. It just was weird. It was like, I think he just had a brain fart moment. Like he just literally like stood there and watched it happen. It was like this one time I was on the kayak. No, I was in the river with my brother in Florida. And I had a long sleeve shirt on with a pocket, and I had my phone in the pocket here. And I bent over to pick up a fish, and the phone just fell out into the water, and it floated for like 3 or 4 seconds. And I had plenty of time to reach down and grab it. But I was so shocked that it was floating instead of instantly sinking that by the time I realized it had been floating, it started sinking. Hello, Eliza. No complaints. It's warming up. We're 50. What? We're like 52, 53 right now. Meadow says, how about the pass from Barkov to Swaggy, who completely flubbed it? Yeah, good point, Steven. He says, what the hell's up with the goalie interference calls? When they showed the bench when Brunette decided to challenge it, they showed the Panthers bench, and Reinhardt was looking at the play on the iPad, and he just started laughing out loud, as if he was just laughing at, and then they called it goalie interference, right? JC, is that some sort of analogy to life? Thought we were floating. By the time we realized we had already been sinking. It's kind of true, right? Hey, the second you're born, you're dying. The second you're born, you're dying. We're all in the process of dying, right? Nobody wants to hear it. It's just the way it is. Fly says it feels like the officials are putting their thumbs on games against the Panthers this year. It's been a little odd. It's been a little odd. But eventually, you know. Who said that? Is that Dietrich? I can't see your name. Yeah, it's Dietrich. We're slowly rotting away, even as babies, right? Danny says Panthers winning makes the flu 10 times easier to get through. Oh man, feel better. Feel better. Do I play hockey, Eliza? No. That ship sailed for me a long time ago. Hockey's the one sport I didn't play when I was a kid. Football, baseball, soccer, judo, weightlifting. Yeah, we didn't have hockey. Obviously, growing up in Miami in the 80s, there was no hockey. Welcome to Flying Fluffy Philosophy. That's not a bad name, Metal. Vincent says refs ran out of glycine, unable to think anymore. It's worst I've ever seen. Neither of those calls were in a gray area. No, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but to me, I really genuinely feel like they were purposefully gaslighting Maurice. When he's like, number 17 enters the crease on his own. It's like we all can see that he's being pushed into the crease. It just felt like purposeful gaslighting. And he says, Sam Skevich, Bennett, Kachuk, second line moving forward. Absolutely. Yeah. How beautiful is that? Because I'm sure that coaches kind of figured at the start of the season you'd end up with Rodriguez on that line and maybe wanting to have to pay to upgrade. Kenneth says, that's too bad. I would have loved hockey. Yeah. Yeah, it would have been fun. I remember playing stick hockey like one time, like when I was 14 or something. Steven says, I would have loved to see Bruno's face when they called the goal back. They showed him when they announced the challenge, and he was very much throwing an absolute dart. He must have laughed his ass off. Yeah, I don't think anybody expected that to get called back. At this point, it's kind of a joke. Fly Guy says, like they saw how the NFL jumped the shark with the Taylor Swift Super Bowls, and they don't want the Panthers in the finals 3 years in a row. Huh. So Saradov, Lundy, and Lucic has to be the third. Agreed. I mean, I don't know that we're going to go with Saradov into the playoffs. But, at some point, we're either going to end up with like Lucic and Rodriguez on the fourth line, or people are going to have to move out of the way or get traded. Because what Vincent was saying is it's not, he's not wrong. There's no room on the team right now, unless you wanted to give him fourth line minutes. But you start talking about next year, especially if Giles comes up. Kenneth says, you think they're reviewing the play. It's just a coin flip app on the ref screen. Yeah, Vincent, we did see his face when he was arrested, right? Erod might be the guy who will get traded, unfortunately. It's possible during the offseason. It just depends on, what are we going to pay Bennett? What are we going to pay Ekblad? right? Because on one hand, like I've talked about, I wouldn't mind overpaying Bennett if the term's going to be short, so we keep the window open. At the same point, how's Ekblad going to feel if they're overpaying Bennett but underpaying Ekblad? Yeah, we do need a defenseman. Yeah. Silva says, no, we definitely aren't going into the playoffs with Sordiff. Boquist will probably take that spot in the playoffs, and we'll have Gadjo, Nosek, Greer's the fourth. Sordiff should be the first up. I think we're going to do better than that come playoff time, though. So I think one of those spots is going to get upgraded. No disrespect to Gadjevich, but I kind of feel like that spot. But it gets upgraded automatically because when Chucky comes back, Silva, Boquist and Rodriguez are in the bottom six. So just by default, when he comes back, it'll probably be Rodriguez with Lundell, Luosterainen, and Boquist on the fourth line. Yeah, I agree there. Let's sort of play in the third line the rest of the season, or at least as much as possible. Let them play the games and develop. You never know, something happens in the middle of the playoffs, right? All of a sudden you need a guy to come in. It'd be good for him to have had played 20, 25 games. Vincent says, how does a traffic cone feel when you crash into him? It's a good question. He was all right last night, right? He didn't cost us anything last night. Although I guess it was him coming back on the goal where Barkov just stood in the crease and watched it happen. I don't know. He was all right. Can't kill the kid every night. You know what I mean? But yeah, we just got to fix the bottom pair on the defense, really. Hey, Trey, you sent me a mock trade I saw on Instigators Hockey to on my phone. Let's see. Let's see what Trey sent me. Let me see. Yeah, the thing about that is just that. So the trade that Trey said he saw on Instigators Hockey was Bennett, Ekblad, a 26th first and a 27th first for Brady Tkachuk. I don't like it. I don't think Ottawa would do it anyway. Why? You know what I mean? I don't think that they would do that because it's two players that don't have any term, right? So my trade for Brady Tkachuk was Rodriguez, Cooper Black, and a first. That was my deal. Yeah, an actual mock trade. Yeah. I would Rodriguez, Cooper Black, and a first. Let Ottawa have the extra goalie. Probably not enough salary, though, right? We'd have to send something more. I guess if they want Ekblad. Trey says, and Sordiff. No, we can't give up both Rodriguez and Sordiff. Sordiff is the Rodriguez replacement. Can't give them both. They can have one of the other kids that'll piss Vincent off. Let him have Sasha or St. Martin. I agree with Danny. Ekblad from Ricard sounds decent. JC says, send Bennett, Cooper Black in a first. I'd do that. I would do that. Yeah. I do that. Would Ottawa do that? They might want one more thing. The only way they would take Bennett is if they could re-sign him. Oh, you thought Trey was finding new ways to troll me with the Crosby trade. Well, now apparently Dubas is willing to get rid of Erik Karlsson. What at the drop of a hat with the snap of my fingers? What did he say? Yeah, JC says throw in Giles. Yeah, Ottawa's never going to do it. Can you imagine what that phone call would be like if Bill actually even called them? Metal says Ottawa is set in goal. I don't think they'd want a goalie. Well, they might be set for now. How old is Olmark? Because I think Cooper Black's only like 22, 23. Yeah, throw in the Flying Fluffy memberships. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Amanda. She says Brady to the Panthers will eventually happen. Eventually. Oh, they got Merrill as the goalie of the future. Damn it. Well, thank you again, Amanda. Chris says, did Sordiff have a hit last night? I think he needs to put some weight on to play in this scheme, but he looks super promising. What's his size? Yeah, Fly Guy. Yeah, he's definitely looking good. Let's see. Justin Sordiff. Let me see. He's only 22. So he's 5'11". Do we have weight for him? Can we have his poundage, please? Can we have Justin's poundage? 5'11", $181. The Panthers website says 181. Maybe he got weighed when he came back up to the team. So, like, I mean, maybe 10 pounds at most, right? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Trey says, I keep wanting to call him Dustin instead of Justin for some reason. Cole Caulfield. I think Caulfield's smaller. I mean, when Caulfield came up with Montreal, he was practically a child. Let's see. Geez, yeah. Caulfield is 5'8", $175. So, yeah. That's what they've got Caulfield listed at. So, Sordiff towers over that dude. So I don't need to look it up. How many years out can you trade a pick in the NHL? That's a good question. That's a good question. In the NHL, how many years in advance can you trade a draft pick? Let's see. Here, let's see if this gives me an answer. No, not by the time. How far in the number of years you can trade draft picks in the future depends on the league and the type of pick. I know. That's what we're asking. NHL teams, they don't give us a number. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a limit. Danny says, Giles, St. Martin both coming up soon. How do they fit in the current lineup? Giles could take a fourth line spot next year. I don't know where you're going to put anybody else. I don't know where St. Martin's going to go. We're going to have the problem of having too many good players. That's how Tampa lost Carter Verhaeghe. Don't tell anybody. Remember when Tampa was really good and they just had no room and they had to let Carter Verhaeghe go? I'm just saying it's eventually going to happen to us. Trade a 2050 first. Yeah, Brady could chuck for a 37, 38, 39 first round pick. Mike says he's going to have to wait 3 or 4 years because we're winning the Stanley Cup the next 4 years. I'll take it. No Tarasenko. I wonder when we're going to get the news on Chucky. Like, how long are they going to keep putzing around? They have the test results by now, right? What would be the reason to not just put him on LTIR unless they're not going to just put him on LTIR? Vincent's fine with that, right? Trey says Caps don't have to worry about the captaincy till 2040. They go from Ovi to Tom Wilson, right, to Leonard. Yeah, but can they beat the Canes? Like you say, you think he has a sports hernia? That probably would make sense, right? That would probably make sense. Trey says probably trying to figure out his return date and if they can pull a Vegas or not. I mean, it seems pretty easy to me, right? Yeah, he's day-to-day for 100 days. Yeah, that's about right, Metal. Right. Like, I don't see why we're even having this discussion. I mean, especially when you know you can't trust Chucky to tell you how he really feels. Like, Chucky, you feel good to play? Yeah, I'm fine. Like, I don't know why we're even having this discussion. I says, does anyone find it odd that the Caps went over to Cap the next year after buying Cap Friendly? That's interesting. Chris, it's a groin injury. We haven't heard anything to the contrary about that. Silva has breaking news. Bill Zito just traded a player named $100 million and a player named Glendale Avenue to the defunct Arizona Coyotes for future considerations. Just happened to be, oh, no, not Austin Matthews. Oh, no. No. The only reason I want Austin Matthews on my team is if it's going to be used to lure Brady Tkachuk out of Ottawa, and Austin Matthews can go to Ottawa. Vincent says once they get a trading partner, they shove him on LTIR. Right. Who would we get, Danny? Defense. But really, we're only going to get guys, even though the money wouldn't be an issue, the assets that we have to give up, I really don't want to give up assets unless we're getting guys that are going to be on the team next year, because we do need to rebuild the defense a little bit. So I don't want to be giving up any of our guys if it's not going to be for a defenseman that's at least got next year in term, right? At least fill one hole for next season. I can't think of any. Yeah, exactly, Craig. No rentals. Yeah, no rentals. We don't need to do it. We may not be able to win the cup with this roster, but it's not completely out of the question either. It's certainly not worth giving up any of our draft capital or our prospects for a rental, because none of the rentals out there are fantastic. You know, is the difference between Seth Jones and Nate Schmidt a cup? I don't think so. Uncle Blackbeard. Now, but Gudis though. Now, if they wanted to get Gudis back, oh, he could have the credit cards, Silva. He could have 7 of them. He could have 7 of them because I still got like 7 more after those 7. Jeez. Yeah. Joshua says, I keep seeing that we're eyeing Seth Jones, but Jones' contract and player shaky. I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there that I just don't understand. Like when we were talking about maybe getting Tarasenko last week, there was rumors. Yeah, Carolina didn't want a rental either, right? Yeah, Craig says upgrades for Schmidt and Balinskis is pretty much all that's needed. Yep. That's pretty much it. And one, I guess I was going to say you need somebody for depth on the 4th line, but if Denisenko can be the depth in the first cup run when we played Vegas, certainly sort of could be depth in this one, right? Fly Guy says, I like Belinskas, but he's a black ace. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to get killed with him, but if we're serious about making a run and winning the damn thing, I think we could get through the conference with who we got, but I don't know about some of those teams in the West. Meadow, no, I know we lost that series, but what I'm saying is that Sordiff is better than Denisenko. Point being is, if you had to put him out on the ice, I don't see where we'd get, abused because of him. That's right. Yeah, Silva says the first cup run we called up Zach Dalpe and he scored 2 goals. That's right. I always forget about him. He's still there, right? Is he playing? Is he hurt? I know he wasn't young. I think he was already old. Let's see. Yeah, he's 35 now. So he's just kind of been a permanent AHL guy. He hasn't played much this year. Doesn't look like it. Where's he playing? Is he playing? Dalpe has 9 games. He's played 9 games with the Checkers this year, which makes sense because you're not really going to play a guy that old unless you're trying to develop your young kids, right? Fly Guy says, Washington looks serious, and I'm really not liking Pomo's comments about the Jets winning the cup, the next cup now. Maybe he's just saying it to piss off his own players. Greg says, yeah, lost to Vegas was also E2. That's right. E2 was out. That's right. Maxime Mammon. I saw a highlight video of a playoff game a couple weeks ago, and I saw him. He was on the ice, wasn't he? Was that the President's Trophy year where Mammon was on the ice for us in the playoffs? That is a big dude. Where's he playing now? Dave Bowling and Lawson Krause, the Arizona Coyotes. Ugh. Don't get me started on that. Where the hell, what's his name? Maxim Mammon. What a name, right? I know he went over to Russia. Is that where he still is? He's 30 now. He's playing for HC CSKA Moscow. Let's see if he's tearing it up over there. 62206. Let's see. This year, Mammon has 44 games played, 10 goals, 8 assists. All right. He's been playing, for the 3 years. He's gotten plenty of ice time over there. I don't know how many games their season is, but that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go back over there and play. And that's what he did. We're the only NHL. He played for us 3 times. Yeah, it was all in Russia. Then he came up for us in 17 and 18, got 26 games. Then he played with us 18, 19, had 7 games. And then the last one was the President's Trophy season, 21-22, 40 games, 7 goals, 7 assists. And he does better over in Russia, but not by too much. Can you imagine him in Maurice's system? Lundell with Mammon and Luosterainen? Right? That'd be nuts. Seth Jones wants to go to Dallas. Good, let him go. Let him go. Trying to think about the only other option is that we could pick up a real second pair of defensemen to go with Mikula, and then you move Kulikov down. But Kulikov's so damn steady. I mean, the only reason I'd really want to move Kulikov off of Mikula is if you could get Gudis. That I want to see. I want to see that. A Gudis Mikula second pair. That would just be too much fun, man. Yeah, Carlson is available. If they're going to take, the only way Carlson's getting moved is if some team makes it a three-way deal and the salary goes 30, 30, 30. I don't know how much money he's worth anymore. Certainly not $11.5 million. I wouldn't want us spending that kind of money. But if we were going to get him for like 4 and he could be on the bottom pair, wouldn't that be something? If next year we had a bottom pair of Carlson and Ekblad. But there's a reason why the Penguins suck, right? Silva says Carlson is barely a $2 million player. Right. He's old. He got old. Josh, did Pulviari sign with Charlotte yet, or is it still his PTO? Let me look that up. I thought he signed. Somebody in the chat might know that. Oh, it just came up. Let's see. Where are we now? He's playing for the Wilkes. Am we talking about the same guy? I don't see him with Charlotte. I don't see him with Charlotte. Let me see. Nope, I need to go back here. No, the last I see here is that it's just a PTO, February 10th. I don't see anything that says he's that he got signed. Doesn't look like it. He sound all the news is just he signed that tryout deal. Oh no, okay. That's as much as I see. I don't see anything else. Talking about Carlson, Silver says it's not just him being old. His effort is horrible. The opposite of a Pomo style player, right? Call him Svela. Carlson with Mikula's second pair. I don't know, man. I like if Carlson's got effort issues. We certainly know Kulikov doesn't have any effort issues. He's played 4 games with the Checkers so far, 2 assists. Some people just shouldn't have been drafted where they were drafted, right? You know? I mean, look what happened with Borgstrom. And what a difference, by the way. What a difference between how Borgstrom and Tippett looked when they came up versus how Samoskevich and Sordiff especially looked last night. Like, the guys that we used to bring up, they weren't ready. I mean, Tippett eventually obviously got there, but we used to bring up guys, they just weren't ready. And now when we're bringing up our guys, they're just not defensive liabilities. They're not perfect, but you can take some of these AHL guys, throw them out there on the ice, and we're not hurting because of it. How dare I talk bad about the artist? Hey, Chopper. Yeah, it's a good point, Jameson. He says, we haven't even talked about the Oilers game tomorrow. Edmonton's on a 4-game skid. They're going to come at us with everything. Of course they're going to beat our ass. Of course they're going to beat our ass. Bob didn't get to play, so he's still going to be rusty from the break. We got no chicken Chuck. Edmonton's going to be all pissed off, and it's the first home game of a homestand. If I had $5, I would bet all 10 grand on Edmonton to win that game. And that's just going by what we've seen with this team this year. And that's the way it always works, right? Team comes in crap in the bed. Who's going to fix it? Panthers. Greg says better coaching and conditioning. Yeah, no, I agree, man. This is night and day. It's just night and day when these kids come up. I remember Tippett just couldn't score, but defensively he was out of position a lot. That's what I would do, Craig. Throw Knight back in to change it up. That honestly is what I would do. But would Bob take that personal? Like Bob is the one that beat him, right? Like would Bob take that personal? I was surprised to see Spencer yesterday, but I guess Maurice didn't want him sitting too long, right? He wanted to get each guy into some games. How many losing streaks have we snapped in the last few years? Didn't we snap somebody's like 8 or 9 game streak? What's our schedule? Didn't we snap somebody's? So we've got the Oilers tomorrow, and then the Flames on Saturday and the Lightning on Monday. So we're going to see, I bet you we see Spencer Knight against the Flames on Saturday at 3 o'clock. That would make sense to me. Connor says losses against Colorado, Philadelphia, Washington, and the defensive beatdown by Tampa. Tough stretch for Edmonton. Yeah, then they got to come play us. But without, they may be happy to do it without Chucky. Middle says the Kraken lost 8 straight, Boston 6, Vancouver 5. That was the one I remember was Boston. Yeah. Chris says, can Bill Zito call up Chris Greer and tell him his tricks and how to be a GM so the Dolphins can stop sucking? Ain't never going to happen, man. It's just never going to happen. Dolphins are going to suck until Ross sells the team. Probably until Ross sells the team. He's inept. He's become absolutely inept. There's really should have been no circumstances where Greer kept his job after what happened last year. Meadow says, last year we stopped Seattle's 8-game skid. Why do we always seem to struggle against them? A lot of those West teams, right? Seattle, we struggled for Vegas a long time. The Kings, we struggled with a long time. I mean, maybe it's just the West Coast stuff. I don't know. Silva says, part of me wonders if we drafted Yanasenko last year and he didn't have to be rushed up, would he have been a better player? I think the thing with Yanasenko was he just didn't do anything special. Like nothing stood out, right? Like at best, his ceiling was clearly like third line at best. And there was just nothing that he did exceptional to make up for him just being average all the way around, Yeah, no doubt Nita Shula back at head coach Craig. Where's his kids, by the way? Eyes. Joshua says, I wish we had Swaggy scoring back 15 goals in 59 games for Swaggy when he got 30 plus last year. Let's just hope it comes back for the playoffs. That's all we can do at this point. He's just had an off season. But if he starts putting the puck in the back of the net in April, we'll be all right. Meadow says, Canucks have the longest winning streak against the Panthers of any team. I think they've won 5 in a row against us. It's always those Western Conference teams, right? It's always the dang Western Conference teams. So it says Swaggy's on the team-friendly deal. Would have gotten a hell of a lot more anywhere else. I don't mind it. Yeah, he'd be all right. I mean, I don't see him as the defensive liability that some people see. A lot of times I see him as the forward of the middle that comes back and breaks things up. Can we trade? I don't think anybody wants Jones that much, Steven. I don't know that anybody would want to make that trade. Jones is just not, with his salary and everything, and just probably not a fit for us. Yeah, he has looked better with his passing. Jameson says it's 4 games for the Canucks. Last time the Panthers beat the Canucks was a 5-1 win in December of 22. God, that was a whole lifetime ago. No, that's cool, Kevin, Steven. Yeah, I just don't think Jones. You never know what's going to happen. But I don't. I think whatever the Panthers pick up is going to be. I've been saying it all year. I still feel like when he does make a move for the defense, I think we're all going to have to Google the guy. I think we're going to have to Google him, or at least half of us will. Connor says, is it me or is the atmosphere around the league before the deadline too quiet? It's a little quiet. I'll grant you that. I was thinking something similar where it's just like we haven't even started to see. I thought maybe once the break was over, you start to see some deals, and it's not happening yet, which means it's going to be a crazy last week. I don't think Carolina is going to part with Rantanen to us. I think Carolina, my evil plan is that Carolina sends Rantanen back to Vegas and then they knock out Colorado with Rantanen. That's my evil plan. I don't know why. I guess because it doesn't matter to us anyway, because it's probably going to be Winnipeg and that we play in the finals. But I just would like to see that chaos of Carolina sending Rantanen back to Vegas. Because I don't think we're going to want to give up anything for anybody that we can't sign. And I don't want to help Carolina by giving them what we would have to give them. Like, let somebody else help them. Hey, incorrigible. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt, Ross. It's the way it's going to be for a while. Metal says, I saw this stat. Our record versus the worst teams is third best at 78%. Our record versus the best teams is 20th at 44%. Ghost there says, I want to offload Ekblad for Slavin after his 4 Nations showing. No disagreement there. Ross isn't going to sell the team. He's handing it to his daughter. Well, is she smart enough? You know what I mean? Like, or is she just going to follow dad's instructions? You know, sometimes the women can be more cutthroat than the men. What was that owner, the female owner of the Cincinnati Reds, Marge Schott? You don't want to get on her bad side. She's probably before a lot of years' time. I think that's who it was. Lil J thinks it'll be the Stars or Vegas again. You think the Jets will choke? Ha! And then I didn't even Lil J, I added the Jets choke before I saw your comment that said Jets choke. I didn't even see it. Yeah, Joshua, exactly. Trading for people we can sign is preferable because look at what we got out of the 20 games at Giroux. Yeah, I think we're all over the rentals, right? Yep. Oh, you're talking about the Dolphins saying need to make it like the city of Green Bay where the fans own majority stake of the team. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that, though? Like 2 million emotional Latin people owning the football team. Yeah, the Heat. Yeah. Basketball is a tough follow. Basketball is tough, man, because the teams can just completely be obliterated and rebuilt. All you need is 2 or 3 guys to make moves. It's almost impossible to keep up with the comings and goings of basketball. All right, everybody, I got to roll. It's true, though, Ghost Slayer, right? Can you imagine? Yeah. Everybody of the Flying Fluffy community owning 1.1 million. Oh my God! All right, I got to roll. I have a meeting at 2:00 that I have to run out the door for. So members podcast, is it uploaded? Did it actually upload? I think it uploaded. So I'm going to be putting the members podcast up like right now. Let's see. All right, it's there. Visibility. The members podcast just posted. So that's that. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow at noon. We got more good things coming. I got more good news coming for you all really soon. All right, go enjoy the rest of your day. I got to roll. Got to run.